Hello and welcome to another Shadowverse video. So today we're taking a look at a RuneCraft deck. This is mostly a Natura Evo based deck which focuses heavily on taking advantage of the, of course, Natural Great Tree with things like a Geo-Elementist, Pyromancer, Passionate Pioneer, things like that to really get a good boost, Sheep Rider even, and then using obviously Colosseum on high, to get extra boosts here and there as a really good advantage, plus of course it becomes a good draw if you end up with two of them, but one still pretty decent and works pretty well. Otherwise, we're really just focusing on Lovely Harmonica as our big kind of removal engine, along with Viridia Magna as another good source, using Caddy Sorcerer here and there to take down damage, and then finishing off with things like Riley. So let's get right into this and take a look. So this video is mostly going to be Rune on Rune action. Obviously Rune is super popular, both Natura variants and of course the standard variants are really popular for just every kind of meta right now. If you are definitely interested in playing a craft, Rune seems to dominate the ladder overall, so definitely would recommend giving it a go if you're looking to climb fairly easily. This deck, on the other hand though, I wouldn't recommend it over the spell boost or the straight up Natura Rune. This is definitely a variation on it, and we use a lot of older cards which does a pretty good job. It's by no means necessarily completely bad, but it's definitely not a deck I would recommend if you are looking for something to easily climb with. This is just something more interesting, using the similar engine with different mechanics, which is quite cool. So we are of course focusing on popping these amulets as quickly as we can, taking as much advantage with this as we can, because Riley really is our big hitter. The sooner you can kind of get that going, the better. Focus purely on removal, as that's usually sometimes the best case scenario. But getting buffs doesn't hurt too much, although sometimes I should have focused on getting the invocation out, as that probably would have helped me in the long run. So you get a really nice play there, being able to deal with our board. We do now need a way to take them out, and Lovely Harmonica definitely seems like one of the best options, since it does get the 2 ping here, and we get our setup going, so when we get to turn 7 we can just start pumping these out. We're also getting another tree proc, giving us a nice draw. Pyromancer is a pretty decent card to draw. So a missile and a circle play, and their own great tree. Neither of which are really a problem here. We can actually deal with them fairly easily. Like, the tree is not really causing us any trouble, and we've kind of just got a free pass turn here, so we can just kind of pump out these great trees and build up our defensive plays. Do hold on to the Evo though, as wasting it here does not seem like the best choice, so we'll hold on to it. We've got plenty of removal. Between Apex and Pyromancer, it's going to be fairly easy to take out most boards. And they are generating more and more cards. So Geo-Elementalist, that's going to at least give us some trees to play. Getting our Riley almost ready to hit the board. Actually, I believe that does... I think that gets us very close to Riley proccing next turn. Or maybe the turn after when we get another tree. We might be one tree short. Dawn Splendor, okay. 2 of those, a little annoying. Not the end of the world, just irritating. Since they do have to kind of be dealt with here. Fortunately for us, that's pretty easy. Apex Elemental will take out their entire board and set up a nice ward. And we can even generate some more value for our great trees here. We are going to lose 4 on this, but getting 6 damage in is still fairly decent. Plus the extra 1, so I'll take it. And that was enough to cause a game. We were going to just follow up with Riley anyway, so not easy to defend against. And our next matchup is also against Rune. Rune again being super popular. Very hard to avoid ending up with so many Rune matchups, but these were a couple of the better matches I actually had overall. as some of the rune matches could be quite tough. You do need to have at least a half decent start to actually be able to compete against rune. And this is actually fairly decent. Colosseum is actually not bad on 3. Since typically I find that they don't have any crazy turn 4 play. And I can usually go for turn 4 Monica if I go second, so sometimes Colosseum on 3 can actually be really good, since it has a lot of value. But we don't really have anything now, which is a bit disappointing. We get the Colosseum on high here, but what else do we really play? Like, we've got the Traveler's Respites, which I suppose we could use. We've got a Geo Elementalist, which gives us a great tree as well. But other than those, we didn't really have a lot of crazy cards. Notice we got the +2 on it, so a 4/4 is fairly decent. And it looks like they're going to try and take it out. Wipe our board. Makes sense. We can go for a Lovely Heart Monica though, which will kick us off fairly well. Plus, especially since we can also go for a great tree play if that's the path we decide to go down. Being able to wipe out the 5/2 and then leave up our own Nature and Great Tree again is definitely value orientated, although our Riley is looking a little sad because it doesn't have a lot of damage on it. We're definitely going to be focusing more on just dealing damage here, which hopefully will be fine. Eleanor, Cosmic Flower. It's a direct competition to my Monica. But leaving up the 1/1 is fairly good for us, so we'll take it. We can start doing some tree plays. Get some of that draw going and the boosting on the Riley. That's what we need here. And the healing doesn't hurt either. So we're a little short on being able to go for the Aero Elementalist, but that's okay. Could have had another nice play. And they finally decided to take it out, which is great for us, since we can easily wipe the board with a Viridian this turn. In fact, she gets a nice little boost, doesn't hurt either. She'll get to stick around to wipe out at least one more thing, or take at least one more spell with her, so that's always good, being able to absorb some spell damage. But it looks like they are going to use a follower, so that's even better for us. We do have to take this board out. Fortunately, Apex Elemental will wipe out almost everything except for the 4/4 there. With an Evo, we could actually take out the entire board. And we'll get a chance to play another Great Tree, which will again increase our Riley, so I can't really go too wrong there. And we get the Viridian for the end of turn. Alright, what do they got left? Prize Pupil. Okay. It's a pretty good card here. Not exactly how I probably would have handled that turn, but that was fairly good. I mean, it takes both out, so you can't go too wrong. We do now need a way to deal with this without wasting too many cards. We could go for our own Monica play, especially if we combo it with a Aero Elementalist here. We can actually take this board pretty easily and leave up our 6/5. Just as a little bit of extra threat. Especially if we go play Riley from hand here, we're actually get a 2/2 plus on it if we play it as the first thing, so that could be really, really good. It's actually the way I would lean to go if I have to do some damage, but unfortunately we do have to deal with this board. And that was the worst choice they could have made, dealing with my Monica there. Since we can actually take both of these really easily now. Although it is going to cost us, so it's a bit of a disappointment. It's a pity I didn't have one more slot for a follower to go down. If I could have fit one more on the board, taking out that 5/4 would have felt so good. But that's okay, we can at least go for the tree play. Generate some value there with a draw. Boost up our Riley just that little bit more. Nice Fiery Embrace and a Knowledge Seeker for 10 cost, interesting. Well, zero cost. Oh no, it gives 10 back I think, doesn't it? Interesting either way. So we do lose Caddy, which is a bit disappointing. Luckily, we're not too reliant on it here. We actually should do fairly fine. Monica has so much value in this match right now. Just crazy amounts of value. Enough so that we actually wipe them out. They only have one card left, and top decking with a rune deck like this is not a good situation to be in. So while this deck was definitely not necessarily a good deck, it was definitely a fun one. The mechanics were quite fun. The Colosseum on high throws people off quite a bit, which is interesting. And taking advantage of most removal is really easy. It does make longer games typically. It can draw you out really bad, so sometimes to win or lose can take a while, but it's at least fun. And that's the most important thing here with this deck, as I quite enjoyed playing it. And it's always good to have a great time when you're playing a deck. So if you guys are interested, I'll leave the deck list in the description below. Be sure to like button and subscribe for more content. Until next time, guys. See ya.